Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast, and today it is a 2 vs 2 on Lierneux. And over on the right side, we have our yellow U.S. Forces player, HelpingHans, and down below that, we have our blue British Forces player, Pointman527, and over on the left side, our pink OKW player, Tulip, and our red Wehrmacht player, Hideyori, and I hope I said that right. Reading is hard, and it is Lierneux, so we have our 2 victory points up on the top of the map, and our fuel point all the way up top, and a fuel point in the center of the map, victory point at the bottom of the map, and both of the munitions points at the bottom of the map. And just before I get started with the casting of this replay, I just want to mention that I am at 499 subscribers on my YouTube channel as of casting this, and I really hope that you guys subscribe. So everybody watching this, just hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And I even made it really easy and put a big red button at the bottom of the screen. So I hope you do that. And now the Universal Carrier is the first unit out with 2 infantry sections. So very early Universal Carrier for Pointman. Stern Pioneers had to exit the building there to prevent getting all peppered up by that Universal Carrier, and the Volksgrenadiers look like they're going to take over, and the Stern Pioneers going to take that fuel point instead. Now down at the bottom, infantry taking the bottom munitions point. Looks like he's going towards that other munitions point as well for a very fast munitions advantage. HelpingHans riflemen get suppressed there by that MG42, forcing them on home. Meanwhile, the Pioneers taking the top victory point. And we have Grenadiers taking the top fuel point, but we have some rear echelon troops hiding behind some decent cover, and volley fire is now active and peppered up these Grenadiers, suppress the Grenadiers with that volley fire, and that means they will attack much slower. Pinned them. That was a very fast pinning with volley fire, very good, and successfully takes that fuel point for the Allies. Meanwhile, on the bottom, both of the munitions points have been taken by the Allies, and Volksgrenadiers wait at the territory point for these infantry to come along. And that Universal Carrier is down here in the center. Volksgrenadiers inside the building here and setting up a mortar in the center of the map as well. Forces the infantry on home. Meanwhile, we have some riflemen in the center of the map and going to be battling out with these Stern Pioneers. Angry neighbors fighting at each other, and looks like all 5 of the riflemen can fire out of the windows there, so lots of damage coming in on those Stern Pioneers, forcing them on out of there. Meanwhile, the riflemen should stop and try and take this victory point, but are going right past it, and are going to go after the Pioneers first to stop them from taking this fuel point. Meanwhile, rear echelon troops are taking the victory point on the top left side of the map. And the MG42 is facing the wrong way. Grenadiers also in chase as well. So these rear echelon troops are pretty screwed here. Not really going to be able to make it. Going to force the retreat very soon. In the center, forced that mortar on out of there with some riflemen. And now taking that top victory point. Meanwhile, those rear echelon troops did retreat and are going to have to run in front of this MG42 at some point. Except he picked the MG42 up at the wrong time and could have actually got some extra shots on those rear echelon troops, perhaps taken 1 or 2 of them out with some RNG. And now that victory point has been secured by the U.S. forces, by the Allies in general. And Volksgrenadiers still chilling out inside this building here, and the Universal Carrier is still just wandering around, having a good time. Riflemen inside this building, and looks like a Vickers has been set up inside of this one as well. Now the Grenadiers pushing forward. Grenadiers versus Riflemen. Both sides neither side have any cover here. Could just push up just a scotch and would have cover against these Grenadiers and would be far superior. Forces those Grenadiers out of there with just 1 man and a small sliver of health. Also gonna have to run away that MG42. 2 Riflemen here against this 1 Grenadier squad now. And I believe I spy an ISG somewhere. And note that one of these, that Tulip does have 3 faster reload for his ISGs. So we will see those quite a bit. And now the Riflemen trying to take this territory point, but getting pummeled by those ISGs. Now going to have to retreat on out of there, at least neutralized that territory point. Now taking this top victory point here with 3 Riflemen. And can't believe these Volksgrenadiers are still chilling inside this building, just having a good time. British infantry try to make their way forward here, seeking out a good path to do so, and upgrading that flamethrower variant on that universal carrier so he can force these Volksgrenadiers out of that house. Should be no problem once he has that flamethrower. 2 Grenadiers, mortars now set up, and unfortunately the riflemen already in retreat, so not a big deal there. And now the riflemen going to hop the fence and run on home, more than likely, and that's just going to get taken right back for the Germans in just a moment. Looks like an MG34 is set up inside this house. And there is that ISG all the way in the back here. It does have exceptional range, so it's usually able to fire even all the way into the middle there. And Volksgrenadiers took the southern victory point, leaving 1 for 1 so far. And the score 476 to 478. And 48 and 26 to 22 and 17, 26 and 23 for the Wehrmacht. So lots of less resources for our Germans at the moment. And that universal carrier there, ready to go with that flamethrower. Anything that's inside of a building going to be very, very unlucky. British forces sniper moving out as well, and at the top, Grenadiers taking that top victory point and that fuel point at the same time. It's going to take away some of the resources from our allies real shortly here. Now the victory point being taken by the captain. However, it's under fire from the ISG. Looks like maybe 2 ISGs are firing at once now. And no, that is not the case. Just 1 is firing at once here. And a Raketenwerfer is set up in the center as well. Meanwhile, Sturmpioneers and Volksgrenadiers coming down to the victory point. Going to try and take that back. And Volksgrenadiers at the bottom munitions point will take this back as well. However, going to have to contest these infantry first. And both sides back off for the moment. Meanwhile, Sturmpioneers are coming down and coming right at the infantry. Getting chased away by the British infantry this way as well, so it's sort of just a sandwich action here. This could go either way, depending on how well these players micro through this maze of woods at the moment. Meanwhile, at the top, victory point being taken by riflemen and taking back that fuel point for the Allies. Riflemen hiding behind this truck, getting suppressed by that MG42. And we'll see what they can do. It did not upgrade that grenade package, so can't use the smoke to stop that MG42. So I think eventually he's just going to have to pick up and run on home. Now a half-track is out in the field as well.
We have lost an MG team.
And now Sturmpioneers moving up through the center here, going right after this 75. The 75 is vulnerable now, and they're going to get right up on it and may actually decrew this. They're going to have to follow it. Going to need some backup here. The captain is very far away at the moment. And Sturmpioneers take out a rifleman squad. Riflemen now moving down on the Sturmpioneers, desperately trying to get that 75 out of there. So much action, I can barely follow it. And now the universal carrier being repaired up by some Royal Engineers in the center here, well defended with a Schwerer Panzer headquarters, ISG, and a mortar as well with that Raketenwerfer as well. The Raketenwerfer can easily be maneuvered around and fire on any armor that comes its way. Pack 40 is moving up towards the top as well. That Sonderkraftfahrzeug half-track is just reinforcing all of these troops. And Captain now in trouble and trying to get out of there. Both of them in retreat. We have an armored car moving across the map now, and looks like it's going after that half-track. Decides to go away a little bit, takes a shot from that Pack 40, and one more shot, it will be lost. So it needs to get out of there and repair that back up. M5 Stuart now moving up to the top of the map, and there are some engineers here going to be trying to take that fuel point, and the M5 Stuart says otherwise, and needs to start peppering up these engineers and forces them out of there in a quick hurry, so they will keep that fuel point. 2 victory points for our Germans and just 1 for our allies. So 404 for the allies, 478 for the Germans. Volksgrenadiers inside this building getting flamed out by that Wasp. And the Royal Engineers were also firing in there as well, so a little bit too much damage for those Volksgrenadiers to handle. And where is their battle group headquarters? All the way over here, so not too far of a distance. And we now have a searchlight out on the map for the OKW, showing all the positions of the U.S. allies. I was going to say U.S. forces, but allies in general. Anybody that's up there. Universal carrier now burning up the Volksgrenadiers. Something awful. and they need to get out of there as soon as possible. And luckily didn't lose too much there. Now the Fallschirmjägers are going to be the subject of that flame, and are now suppressed on the ground, and they need to just retreat out of there. And there they go now, losing one man, and may lose another man to this Royal Engineer squad. Meanwhile, Volksgrenadier is going to hide out in the building here. And this is just one action-packed replay for sure. MG34 still chilling in this building, unable to get through here with that MG34 there. But some riflemen going to hop the fence here and maybe get inside this building, and then we'll be able to take out this searchlight here. And this is definitely some genius play. However, that MG34 is going to be firing on this building the entire time, and that's going to force that searchlight back, at least for the meantime. Going to have to set up again at a later point in time. Now the Grenadiers taking this top victory point, but the M5 Stuart saying otherwise once again. Going to force away these Grenadiers shortly. A small sliver of health left on these Grenadiers, just on 3 left, and they're going to start losing these men very, very quickly. And down to 2 men, and there they go on home. Meanwhile, the riflemen inside that building still trying to deal with that MG34, but the captain's going to go around the other side. Captain's going to get inside this building here. Going to launch the bazookas out the window. It's going to get hit a couple times here. And when are they going to fire? They need to fire soon. And nope, going to get out of there. The Schwerer Panther headquarters, way too much for that captain to handle inside that building. And M5 Stuart now guarding the top section, moving towards the center now. Now at the bottom, the Wasp carrier defended the bottom here. Now the infantry are going to be taking that munitions point back. Meanwhile, in the center, the M5 Stuart taking some hits from that Pack 40 there. Needs to get out of there and repair that on up. Fallschirmjägers can't really do too much, and loses that M5 Stuart there. MG34 is still chilling inside the building, and this MG34 is the bane of the Allies right now. If they could take this out, that would solve a lot of their problems, but then it would just sort of fall back on the Schwerer Panther headquarters. So they got a lot of work to do in terms of getting rid of this MG and this Schwerer Panther headquarters with their 75, and that 75 should definitely be trained on this Schwerer Panther headquarters. Get rid of that. And now the Grenadiers holding out, just 2 men left in the squad, 2 men left in the infantry squad, and they are reinforcing here from the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251 half-track. I love saying that word, sorry. And as much as damage as they are taking, they're simply just reinforcing over and over from this half-track. And now a new Grenadier squad is up and ready to go. Riflemen here with a flamethrower. If they just move up just a little bit, we'll start torching these Grenadiers and going to force the Nazis on home. And now torching up these Grenadiers and pushing forward a little bit. That that Pack 40 and the MG42 going to make it impossible to push forward right now. Need to take care of that. And I'd really like to see additional 75 Pack howitzers out in the field by the U.S. forces, so we can start dealing with some of this emplaced areas here. We got the infrared searchlight, the MG34, and the Schwerer Panther headquarters there that really need removed. And now the half-track has to back off a little bit there. Managed to throw some smoke on that MG42, and are now pushing up on it fast. And here comes the flamethrower and picking that MG42 up again. Now the whole force is in retreat, and there they go. And that was a white phosphorus smoke barrage too that scorched that area. And now that infrared searchlight is in a little bit of trouble. Gonna have to back that out of there now. And he's having a little trouble doing that. Except the Schwerer Panther headquarters once again giving the U.S. forces a hard time. Rear echelon troops trying to take this territory point, and they will take it. And then promptly retreat. Captain now taking the top victory point, and if they can take this, they will turn the game around slightly. Now it's 2 versus 1. Score so far 369 to 462, with resources much higher again on the, well, in terms of the munitions, a little bit higher for the Allies, a little bit higher in terms of fuel for the Germans, as they have both the center fuel point and the top fuel point, and now they both own the bottom points as well. So now a huge advantage for our German team. And ISG just firing away. Now a 2-star ING, just racking up the kills. 7 kills, and did a lot more than just 7 kills in terms of damage. And picked up that Granatwerfer there, and gonna try and run away with it, but I don't know if he's gonna be able to get away or not. And no, loses all those men trying to pick that up, and that was definitely not worth it. I think it would be just more worth it to just go ahead and get more 75s. Now infantry moving back towards the center here. Riflemen trying to take back their territory point. And down at the bottom, we have a half-track loaded with Royal Engineers taking the munitions point, and then soon the next one. But we have the infantry already there taking that munitions point. So huge munitions increase is about to occur imminently for the Allies. Meanwhile, Fallschirmjägers look like they're moving down towards the bottom. Infantry going to try and take this victory point, but the Fallschirmjäger is going to destroy the infantry if they get too close, but it's a matter of getting close. And there they go, running away already. And these 2 points here will be captured shortly. Meanwhile, the Fallschirmjäger is chasing away those infantry, and we have Volksgrenadiers now trying to battle it out with the Riflemen, and Riflemen inside the building there with the flamethrower forcing the retreat of those Fallschirmjägers. And lots of firepower coming out of this half-track at those Fallschirmjägers. Didn't take out too many of them, just 1 lost total. Now Sturm Pioneers coming down to the infantry, and Sturm Pioneers lost 1 man before they got close, and now they are close and doing huge damage, but unfortunately have to run away. That half-track looming behind them. And now 53 munitions per minute. Very, very high munitions now for our allied players, so they will definitely be able to put those munitions to good use. The U.S. forces could get lots of bazookas and throw lots of grenades, all that fun stuff. Infrared searchlight has been placed all the way back here at a much safer position, but unfortunately it doesn't reach quite as far as when it was right here, but I think it's much worth it to be here than to, you know, to lose just a little bit of that sight range. Now the armored car moving out. Riflemen moving across the map slowly here. It's still got to watch out for that Schwerer Panzer headquarters. That is the main problem we've got going on here. Can't really get into the center too well with that. And now the armored car takes a shot from that Stube and needs to get out of there as soon as possible. And takes another hit there from a Panzerfaust by the looks of it. And now that armored car is toast. And there it goes, all kaput on the ground. Now the MG42 and Grenadiers holding that fuel point strong. Meanwhile, taking the top victory point as well, back down at the bottom. We have Riflemen trying to take care of that MG34 inside that building, but that is actually a Vickers heavy machine gun taken from the British at some point in the game. And this half-track doing work on any troops that come in this area. So far, so good. Now Volksgrenadiers taking back one of those munitions points and trying to repair up the Schwerer Panzer headquarters, and it looks like it is being bombarded now, which is definitely a good idea. Here it's the 75, and we have another 75 by the looks of it. No, we have a 57, a 6-pounder, and a 57 in the back. But I don't see it now. Very interesting. I think it was actually destroyed at some point. Yeah, both of these are AWOL soldiers, so he lost that and then had to recruit there. And now Captain inside this building here trying to hold out, but the Schwerer Panzer headquarters is just pummeling this building, and they're not going to last long. As you can see, every shot just takes a good hunk of health. Now an incendiary grenade goes down on this house, burning it to the ground, and just get out of there. Going to lose that captain. 2 men left in that squad. Now up top, the entire top belonging to the Germans, and for the most part, the bottom as well. The Allies in trouble right now. And that 75 needs another 75 so badly to just double bomb this Schwerer Panzer headquarters, and it could easily use the additional artillery. Ooh, Riflemen take a big hit, 2 big hits there, and now have to run on back home to the setup major there, along with the ambulance. And up top looks like a chance to take some territory now, and infantry are taking the territory point, the victory point, and going to try and take this fuel point too, but unfortunately there's an MG42 there, so he's going to have to use some clever tactics to do that. He's going to have to throw a grenade or try and get around as close as possible, then throw a grenade.
Taking our territory.
Royal Engineers versus some Grenadiers, and they're getting up close with those submachine guns and forcing the Grenadiers on out of there along with the help of the infantry. Meanwhile, this infantry not doing so good, can't really get too close there, is forced away by the anti-infantry strafe from the Germans. Panther now out on the field. And now the US and British are going to have a hard time dealing with this Panther for sure. And no armor coming out for the British forces just yet. But it looks like a Jackson perhaps is coming out for the U.S. forces. And this Panther is just doing work, forcing all of these troops back. And he does have two 75s now functioning, and should be aiming them entirely at this Panther headquarters. If he can get that down, he'll easily be able to move forward. But right now, the problem is this Panther, so he's got to worry about that first. The Ostwind is up top here to defend the top from any stray troops to come up here to try and take that. Armor-piercing sniper going to try and make it all the way around and start taking out that MG42. Pretty clever there. And now the Riflemen versus Volksgrenadiers, but the Riflemen are 3-star and have a flamethrower, so they're going to do huge damage to these Volksgrenadiers, and they instantly run away, knowing they're not going to win that fight. And here we go. Unfortunately, the Riflemen are in negative cover and need to get out of the road there. And there they go, trying to follow these Volksgrenadiers to take those out. But we have Fallschirmjägers now coming along as well, so huge damage is incoming. Fallschirmjägers do so much damage. And we'll see if they can handle this. A grenade going to land on them. And that was very interesting. Blew up that tree a little bit. That was very, very cool. And now both sides running away. However, the munitions point going to be belonging to the Germans very shortly. And we have two of these 75s still rocking and going strong, just blasting anything they spot here, just sending them all over the place. And that Jackson moving forward a little bit, and it has a superior range and could be firing on that Panther there, and takes another shot. And once it gets a level 1 veteran, so you can use those armor-piercing rounds, which do huge, huge damage, and will give it a big, big bonus against that Panther. But we do also have a Stug 3 out on the field for the Wehrmacht. And so that's going to be hard to deal with both of these. And so this Jackson's going to have to be the hero of the game. Jackson takes a shot there from the Raketenwerfer and takes another shot from the Raketenwerfer. Needs to back up, trying to kill this Schwer Panther headquarters, but not going to do it. Needs to back up first, has to repair, as that Raketenwerfer was doing a little bit too much damage. Wouldn't be able to take one or two more shots. Infantry down here trying to take the victory point there. And Volksgrenadiers right up in the face of these infantry. They do have that Bren light machine gun. So a bit more firepower than the Volksgrenadiers have right now, and forces them on out of there, and should be able to take this victory point back. 2 victory points to 1 for the British forces, 141 to 453. So British forces losing, allies rather, losing pretty quickly. And Volksgrenadiers and Fallschirmjägers pushing forward. And now going to start taking that victory point back again for the Germans. But we have the infantry down here with the Bren going to hold out and definitely force away these Volksgrenadiers. And here comes an incendiary grenade, but was preemptively dodged there. And now that half-track coming down here to regulate these troops. And there's just so much firepower coming out of this half-track. All those submachine guns and that main gun as well. Jackson now going after the Ostwind. Ostwind looks pretty screwed here unless he can do some magic juking. I doubt this Ostwind is going to survive. Ostwind can't do too much to even a Jackson. And now he's going to try and blitzkrieg tactics out of there, but not enough. And loses that Ostwind.
Panzer forces have been reduced by 1.
And so far the British forces still not getting any kind of armor, and that's certainly what they would need right now. They definitely need something to deal with this. Now the Stug 3 is trying to deal with the Jackson now. Jackson a little bit more maneuverable than that Stug. And there goes the fire. Oh, misses. That could be a critical shot. And one more shot from that Stug is going to lose this Jackson tank destroyer, and that would be very, very bad to lose that destroyer. Loses that destroyer. Now no armor on the map for the Allies. So very good juking with that Stug there. I figured that Jackson could easily handle, but certainly did not. Now struggling to repair up that Schwer Panther headquarters. And Fallschirmjägers down at the bottom here, 71 and 453. So not looking too good for the Allies right now. And pack howitzers still doing work. And still firing away at that Panther headquarters here. But unfortunately, there's just way too much in the way. And at this point in the game, taking this out really won't do them too much. I'd like to think that they needed these way earlier in the game. And looks like some armor coming out for the British forces. But no armor coming for the U.S. forces right now. And down to 41 to 453, so losing pretty quickly here. And looks like a Stuka drop here. Oh, and takes out all of those units. And that was definitely devastating for the Allies. Helping Hand says GG and surrenders the game, leaving the German team the winner. I think it was a really, really great game, but I think this Schwerpanzer headquarters spot was just so good. They just never allowed them back into the center anywhere. As you can see, this is the radius of it. It goes all the way down to here, past the fuel point. Even if you get inside this house here, you get fired at all the way around. Just really, really good placement for that. And I just don't think they got... having these two 75s was definitely a good idea, but it was way too late to use that. If they would have just focused those 75s on that headquarters, could have finished it off. And that would have crippled the OKW a little bit in the center here. But I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I will see you guys next time.